I'm here at Home Depot. I'm going to show you how to make a $5 sand spike today. So let's start with the parts list. So the main thing you're going to need is the sand spike. It's in the building materials section, and it's a 14 gauge, 4-foot, medium duty U-post. And it only costs $4.11. So the nuts and bolts are all going to be metric M6 1mm thread. You're going to need a 75mm metric cap screw, 30mm machine screw, M6 1 thread wing nut, and a zinc plated lock nut. So the only other thing you're going to need is a 1.5 inch by 2 foot PCV pipe. Alright, now that we got all our parts, we can go back home and assemble it. Now that you're home, ready to assemble your sand spike, you just take your PCV pipe and eyeball about a 2-inch section from the top, cut that off with a hacksaw. If you don't have a hacksaw, you can use an old knife, heat it up over the flame until it's red hot, and just melt right through it. This piece is going to keep the top of the pole steady on the sand spike. Alright, and to keep the butt of the pole in place, just measure out, eyeball about 4 inches of the PCV pipe, cut that off. Alright, now that you got your 2 pieces of PCV pipe cut, you can take a nail, try to get one as large as you can, because you're going to hold this over a flame now, and you're going to melt a hole in the plastic that's as big a diameter as the screw. If you could do this outside, I would recommend doing that, because the fumes that are going to be emitted from the PCV pipe is probably toxic, honestly. So just really be careful about that. Don't inhale it. If anything, make sure that you turn on your fans and just try not to inhale any of those fumes. So you're going to heat up your nail until it's red hot. If you have a torch, that would make this a lot easier, a lot faster. Heat that nail up red hot because the plastic's going to cool it real fast. Alright, when your nail is hot enough, for the short piece of PCV pipe, you want to melt one hole straight through the center, not through both sides, just through one side. So turn on your exhaust fans and melt that hole. So it should look something like this after you melt the hole, and your bolt should be able to fit through it. Alright, now for the longer piece of PCV pipe, you're going to do the same thing, heat that nail up, melt one hole through the bottom of the PCV pipe, and do another hole on the opposite side that lines up. So it's going to be something like that, okay? When you're doing this, if you have a pair of plumber pliers, that would be a little bit safer, because if you just use some normal pliers without any insulation, it's going to get really hot and you might not be able to hold the pliers. So when you're attaching this small piece of PCV pipe, first you want to take that 30mm screw, take that twist knot or whatever you call it, and put it on backwards on that screw. Screw it all the way so it can't do it anymore. Looks like that. There's a little hole on the top. Line that hole up with the one that you melted, like that. Just put it through. Take one of those lock nuts, and there's a little bit of that screw sticking out. Just put it on there and screw it tight. Alright, next, about 3/4 of the way down this sand spike, there's another hole. Just line it up with that one where you had your 2 holes drilled. Put your 75mm bolt through. You might have to hit it with a hammer. Alright, that's through. Just put that on there. And that's going to hold your pole. That 75mm screw is going to prevent it from slipping out. Just put that last lock washer on there. Right, $5 sand spike. As good as anything you can buy for 25 bucks at Sports Authority or any fishing shop. One problem that you might run into if you have this top PCV pipe like this is that this bolt will get in the way and your pole won't be able to fit through. So if this happens to you, you can just take a knife or something, heat it up and melt half of that off, and now you got a spike where you can just lay your pole in it. You don't got to put it through the top. The only problem with this is if your pole isn't angled in the ground like this, and if it's more straight up, then your pole could fall off the spike pretty easily and go into the sand. So if you do it like this, just make sure it's angled in the sand properly, like this.